Time to do what I call dropping a deuce. And what I call dropping a deuce, yeah, everybody knows what it is. Doing 2 videos in one night. I don't know what the fuck you're thinking, man. You guys have some messed up trains of mind, man. Trains of thought, you know. What I'm talking about is Alexander Gustafsson, the white Jon Jones. As everyone has preceded him, being that he just beat the shit out of Thiago Silva. Here's why he beat the shit out of Thiago Silva. He is the white Jon Jones. You know, he is the white Jon Jones. I would love to see a fight against he and Jon Jones. I mean, his Jon Jones' recent destruction of Vitor Belfort, even though it was his best performance and probably definitely his hardest, and we saw him struggle in the first round. The first round, I almost had an aneurysm, literally 2 or 3 times. Even the replay, I had an aneurysm. Man, I almost had a heart attack. Jon Jones being, up there with my favorite fighters, it was hard to watch him, almost lose the title to even so much like someone that I respect, like Vitor Belfort. But going to Alexander Gustafsson, you look at him, he's ranked number 7, the number 7 205 pounder in the world. How can you rank Alexander Gustafsson number 7? Ranking Alexander Gustafsson number 7 is like ranking Nick Diaz number 7. I mean, because he's been, maybe inactivity? Is that it? Because I don't understand the rest. This guy, really, he started training in 2006. He's only started training 6 years ago. He trained boxing, and before signing with UFC, he was with a few promotions in Sweden. Did some fights inside the ring as opposed to cage. And by 09, he was a 10-0. 8-0. He was undefeated, 8-0, and 6 of them were knockouts. So, and since signing with the UFC. And believe me, I'm reading straight from the net. So, straight from the net. It's UFC 105. He made his debut against Jared Hammond, and he got a knockout. He moves on to Phil Davis, and he did submit to the anaconda choke, and that was a tremendous win for Phil Davis. It actually boosted his career to the point where he got to fight Rashad Evans. Rashad Evans being one of the biggest draws, the top 5 draws, and one of the top 5 fighters that draw the most pay-per-view views in Phil Davis, Rashad Evans. So Phil Davis, Rashad Evans fought, and of course, I had it picked all day long. Rashad Evans wins the fight. He didn't knock him out, he didn't submit him, but still. So he moves on to Matt Hamill, knocks him out. Moves on to Vladimir Matyushenko, knocks him out, and then Thiago Silva. That was a hell of a fight on Fuel TV. Gustafsson versus Silva. He shined all day long from rounds 1 to 3. He just showed a spectacular striking. The white Jon Jones. He just showed everything that Jon Jones showed in the UFC 100 battle with Jacob Ryan. He basically is just one step below Jon Jones, and I would love to see a battle between those two. Who else are you going to pair up against Jon Jones? His recent win against his recent win over Belfort, and Gustafsson recent win over Silva. Why not? Why not put the white Jon Jones against the real black Jon Jones? Why not put the real guy against, the guy that looks just like him, only Swedish and white? He probably has the best skills in the division other than Jon Jones. He probably has the best chokes in the division other than Jon Jones. He probably has the best reach and length and uses it to the best of his ability other than Jon Jones. So why don't we compare the two and see how they scrap out and fight in the octagon? There's only one way to find out, and that's the reason why we all watch fights and we all do what we do. In case you haven't noticed, it's kind of a family night at the Ray House, and it's been a while since I've done videos here. I think I've done 1 or 2 in the past, but never posted on YouTube. So Alexander Gustafsson, to me, I think he's going to pose the biggest threat to Jon Jones' title. In the 205 division, in my day, it was always Tito Ortiz, Chuck Liddell, Randy Couture. There were those guys that were always threats. They were big threats, and they always had rematches, and it was always so much fun. Now that all those guys are gone, man, it's a Jon Jones universe, so get used to it. as far as 205 goes, and look, man, maybe as far as heavyweight goes, Jon Jones is going to push that envelope. Jon Jones is going to do what he does best, and that's increase his Muay Thai, increase his Jiu-Jitsu, even get better at wrestling, and much better throws. The throws we saw against Matt Hamill and Stephan Bonner were just, I mean, they're epic. They're things that are going to be seen for ages to come. When my children are my age, they're going to look back and say, wow, this guy was an excellent fighter. Look how well he fought. I expect MMA to make it that far. I have that much faith that our sport will make it that far by the time my child is in high school. He's 4 now, so let's give it 10 years, 10, 11 years, and I think it'll be just as big as football. Hopefully. It deserves to be. It's the most demanding sport. You have to be in peak physical condition. I mean, you can't smoke cigarettes. You can't lay around. You can't. There is no off season. It's just all on. It's all training. It's full on. It's 1-on-1. There's one guy in there, and then one guy across the cage, and you have to finish that guy, or you have to beat him by points. I mean, you have to win a fight. So really, it's all about the fighter. And Alexander Gustafsson has got everything that he needs and every tool that he needs to be the best. Let's just see him. Let's see him take on Jon Jones. I think he's ranked number 7. Bullshit. I think that's a crock of shit. Chael Sonnen has no right taking that slot, just moving up to 205. I think he still remains number 2 or maybe 3. He's hanging in there at 185. At 205, it's been quite a while. I think it's been the Paulo Filho days. I could be wrong. I think he might even fought those at middleweight. So who is he to challenge Jon Jones for a title? No one. I mean, he uses his mouth to get a lot of places. But in my mind, I think it's going to be Gustafsson. Alexander Gustafsson should be, in my mind, if anyone has any train of thought, as of how good this kid is and how good he's getting every single day, they'll pit him against Jon Jones when his arm heals. We'll see about that arm, and we'll see about Alexander Gustafsson. But mark this video. I guarantee you that the next guy that's up for thought will be Alexander Gustafsson, Sweden's own. So much love to Sweden, and much love to Alexander, Jon Jones. Thank you, Nick Diaz, very much for your love, support, subscription, and thank you all for your views.